Everyone, if you're watching this video, you or your student is probably interested in taking IB Psychology at South Lakes High School. This video will tell you a little bit more about what we will learn in IB Psychology. IB Psychology is a really cool course because not only do we get to learn in-depth information about our thinking processes, how our brains work, how we interact with other people, we also can come away from this course with a lot of information that applies to our daily lives. So, in IB psychology specifically, we have three main approaches, and those approaches are the cognitive approach, the biological approach, and the sociocultural approach. So, the cognitive approach focuses mainly on thinking, learning, memory, and processes involved with those behaviors. The biological approach is going to focus more on the brain and the nervous system and the inner workings of our body. How things that happen in the brain relate to decisions that we make, or how things that happen in the brain relate to our daily behaviors. The sociocultural approach focuses more on how our social environments and our interactions with others shape our thinking and decision making. In the middle of this Venn diagram, you can also see an option unit. And the option unit that we focus on in IB psychology is the developmental unit. So we'll talk about how we go from birth through childhood, adolescence, and then mid, and late adulthood, and what transitions take place during those times, how the brain and the body develop, and how that impacts our psychological being. And then throughout the course, we'll look at these approaches through a lens of research and ethics. So in this class, there is a big focus on research, looking at data and what that means, and applying that then to the three core approaches here. So by the end of this course, you're going to know a lot. You're going to know key terms and concepts in psychology, whether that's about thinking, learning, neurons, the nervous system, how we interact with other people, genes, hormones, all sorts of stuff. You'll also be able to apply all the information that we've learned to analyze new information. So, a big part of IB psychology is being able to look at research and to look at information through a critical and evaluative lens. And so, a lot of what we'll do is look at research studies or look at theories and evaluate them. So, we'll think about nowadays, does this theory stand up? What might some arguments towards this theory be? And by the end of this class, you should be able to evaluate new information you receive through a critical lens, whether that be psychological information or research from another field. At the end of this course, you'll also know how a psychological study is conducted and what the results of a study mean. And as your internal assessment in this course, you will actually be conducting a replication study from beginning to end, collecting data, analyzing it, and then writing it up into a research paper. Because this is an IB course, we do have IB assessments at the end of the course. The IB assessments for this class include an internal assessment and an external assessment. The internal assessment for this class is an experimental study that students carry out in groups from beginning to end. So you design a study based on replicating a famous study. And you'll collect your data, you'll analyze your data, and then you will write your whole study up. The internal assessment is graded by me as your teacher and takes approximately 20 hours. We do most of this in class. The external assessment is the IB assessment that you will sit for at the end of the year. For this class, there are two papers, and those are made up of two essay response questions and one short response section. That short response section is made up of three short response questions. These are graded by IB, and they take place in one 2-hour session and one 1-hour session in the middle of May. While this is an IB course and we do take IB assessments in it, we also have a lot of fun in this course. There's a lot of rigor in terms of the amount of information that you're going to receive in this course and the amount of reading and writing that you're going to do. But on a daily basis, we also get to learn about a lot of really fun concepts that apply to your daily life. Not only do we learn about concepts that are relevant to the IB exam, but we also take time to talk about things in pop culture and pop psychology and kind of tease those apart and evaluate whether or not we think those theories are good theories. So this class does have a lot of discussion, it does have a lot of reading, and it does have a lot of writing, but you will come out of it hopefully knowing a little bit more about why you think the way you do and why you do the things you do. And you'll hopefully be able to evaluate new information that you receive through a more critical lens. If you have any questions about IB psychology, please feel free to send me an email at chmcdermott at fcps.edu. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, and I hope to see many of you in class next year.